So the last thing we want to ask, before we start to close it off a bit, is the stars of this bull run over the course of 2021 or so were definitely DeFi, NFTs, and GameFi. And all at different times, mind you. I remember 3 particular run-ups of sorts. Do you believe that these 3 are going to hold the top spots in the future bull run or something like that? Or do you think other sectors will come out of left field, kind of like how GameFi at least did in this last bull run?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I think there will be an app that just connects it all. But my imagination doesn't stretch that far. Like if it were, I'd be building, not investing. But I do think that there's I think with the smartphone, did you imagine that you would be streaming videos and ordering food and watching a movie all at once in one device? I remember when the iPad came out, and I said, why would I need this form factor? Like, I have a smartphone, I have a computer, I have a laptop. Like, this just feels irrelevant. And then, like 3 months later, I had an iPad in my hand, and I was like, okay, well, I think really good technology and founders and companies that deliver the most amount of value are ones that like build something. And this is, I think, you talk about Apple. I think Apple has created so much value because it has told consumers how the world should be, not the other way around. They're like, no, there's a smartphone, and this is how things are going to be going forward. And everyone's like, okay. Yeah. And the internet and like broadband internet was slow at the beginning. There weren't many apps. And here we are, where like 2/3 of the world's population has a smartphone. Yeah. And you do everything with a smartphone. And it's incredible. And so I think I don't know, maybe there's something out there lurking. I don't think the promise of crypto is just replacing and recreating a lot of the things that exist in the world, like in a digital context, like finance, like DeFi is exciting, but it's not just about copying what exists in Wall Street and porting it over in a kind of faster rails and settlement layer, an immutable settlement layer. I think the next wave and the future will be more exploring the things that are possible with this technology that weren't possible before. Or some of the things that have been tried but haven't really worked because the technology, the infrastructure wasn't there to meet it. And the same way that you had a big time in the 90s, like you had food delivery companies and online like stuff like Amazon that didn't work, or pets.com that didn't work, but ultimately it worked because it worked later on. And I think as a founder or as an investor looking into this asset class, into this technology, I think we always kind of need to revisit some of the concepts that we've tried in the past and go back and say, okay, can it work now? Because you minimize dependencies because the infrastructure is there to meet it. And I think what's really exciting is in an open source context, like a lot of this technology is composable. And what does that mean, right? If you're a team that you can plug into, right? If you're a team building a game in crypto, you can tap into DeFi in the backend really quickly. Yeah. And that reduces the cost to create a startup, to build something really cool. And that's one of the things that I constantly am humbled by and also impressed and really encouraged. It's like the people in this space are not afraid to test new boundaries and come up with different concepts, which is awesome. Like it could be simple things like, why the hell do we get paid twice a month? Why can't we get paid like on a streaming basis? Like just that alone, to me, is like really simple stuff that like might not seem truly revolutionary, but I think it opens those small incremental things compound and build up to the possibility of creating entirely new different use cases that haven't been possible before. And so ultimately, like I think Ethereum is so exciting, or whatever your flavor L1 is, where you have the most amount of bags. I don't care. It ultimately is, it allows you to move value transfers the same way, at the speed of light, the same, like the internet now has a value layer, and holy fuck, that's explosive. Yeah. And I think we've seen, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. NFTs, it's not just about art. No. It's not just about a funny picture of an ape or a bunk. It is so much more of creating more efficiencies, removing friction and price discovery to things that are, again, as the name suggests, non-fungible, non-standard. Yeah. And that leveraging the distribution of the internet and on a global scale. And so like Just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Like we've never, I don't know, maybe like maybe if you were living in the Industrial Revolution, like when the printing press got invented, your mind was totally blown away. You're like, holy shit, like, wow, I have a book. What the fuck is this? I can move faster. But I think cars were pretty clunky at the beginning. Like there was a lot of accidents. The infrastructure was not there. There's carts and horse shit all over. And like the first cars were super dangerous and not very standard. And then until the Model T came around, expensive. And so it took a lot of time. I think you probably went through your entire life and you didn't see that much of like a meaningful step function improvement to your life. I guess maybe airplanes did for that generation, but I think we're at a time where the pace of innovation is radically fast across everything, right? Just biotech.
I was just about to say that.
Technology, like it's pretty remarkable. And so I think like our brains are not fully equipped to like handle all this stuff. But what's really exciting about Web3 is that, again, I'll say it again, it's like the pace of innovation is really fast. I think it's faster than anywhere else because it's shared open source knowledge. And everyone kind of, as cliche as it sounds, as Newton said, you're standing on the shoulder of giants, and there's a whole host. I mean, cryptography is decades of research culminating into converging on not only really, really interesting cryptography research, but also the distribution of the internet, the fact that we're all connected increasingly so, and that ultimately like allows people to connect much faster in technology to expand and touch people much faster. And like, we've rambled for like an hour talking about macro. Like, honestly, yeah, it's important, but I tend to think that this is a secular trend. And as I said early on, it's like you open a door, and it is increasingly hard for me to imagine a world that doesn't use this technology, not for any other reason that it's faster, it's better, it's cheaper, because people that's why people use stuff, not because they believe in some sort of ideology. It's like you use an airplane because it is just more convenient.
Convenience is the thing.
That's it. I believe that, and I increasingly believe that. Now, can we be set back? Yes, as an industry, we need to be much more cognizant. We need to be measured in our approach. We can't go out there saying this is going to transform everything and be defensive. And, I think that sets us back. The best we can do is be measured and say, look, this technology is not going to work for everything. But I think in the things that matter, I think there are very specific applications of this technology, at least now that I see. And we should just focus on that.
Thank you guys for watching. The full episode of Augment is sponsored by ILLUVIUM, and you can find the link down below in the description. And if you want to watch more of these clips, you can check it out right over here.